Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Daily English Conversations. Today, we are practicing a job interview for a fictional customer service position. This lesson is at the B2 level, so you will hear detailed answers, professional vocabulary, and natural follow-up questions. Sarah is the interviewer, and Alex is the candidate. Notice how Alex supports each answer with a relevant example instead of making vague claims. You will also hear useful language for describing responsibilities, handling pressure, discussing teamwork, and asking about a role. The goal is to communicate clearly and professionally, not to memorize one perfect answer. Listen carefully, pause when needed, and practice both parts aloud. Let's start the interview. Good morning, Alex. I'm Sarah, the customer service manager. Thank you for coming in today.
Good morning, Sarah. Thank you for inviting me. It's a pleasure to meet you.
It's nice to meet you too. Did you have any trouble finding the office?
No, the directions were very clear, and I arrived a little early so I could prepare.
Excellent. Please have a seat. To begin, could you tell me a little about yourself?
Certainly. I've worked in retail customer service for 3 years. My main responsibilities include answering questions, processing returns, helping customers choose suitable products, and coordinating with other departments. I particularly enjoy listening to customers and turning a confusing situation into a clear next step.
What encouraged you to apply for this position?
I'm interested in developing my communication skills in a support-focused role. Your job description mentions phone and email assistance as well as teamwork, which matches my experience. I'm also looking for a position where I can take on more responsibility over time.
Which part of your current role has prepared you best for this opportunity?
Handling several requests at once has been especially useful. On busy days, I might answer a product question, organize a return, and contact the stock team within a short period. That experience taught me to prioritize carefully and keep customers informed.
How would your colleagues describe your working style?
I think they would describe me as calm, dependable, and organized. I write clear notes so that another colleague can continue a task if I'm unavailable. I also ask questions when information is unclear instead of making assumptions.
What would you say is one of your main strengths?
One strength is that I can explain information in simple language. Customers do not always know technical or store-specific terms, so I avoid jargon and guide them through each option clearly.
Is there a professional skill you are currently improving?
Yes, I'm working on becoming more concise in written messages. I used to include too much background information, so I now begin with the main answer and add only the details the customer needs.
How have you been practicing that?
I review my messages before sending them and remove repeated ideas. I also compare my responses with our approved examples and ask my supervisor for feedback during regular reviews.
That sounds like a practical approach.
It has helped me write faster while still being polite and accurate.
Let's discuss a customer service situation. Could you describe a time when a customer was dissatisfied?
Of course. A customer once came to the service desk because an item they wanted was unavailable. They had already visited another branch, so they were understandably disappointed.
What did you do first?
I listened without interrupting and summarized the issue to confirm that I understood it. Then I apologized for the inconvenience and checked the stock system for suitable options.
Were you able to solve the problem?
The exact item was not available locally, but I found it at another branch. I explained the collection options and asked which one suited the customer. They chose to reserve it and collect it the following afternoon.
What did you learn from that experience?
I learned that solving the practical issue is only part of good service. It is also important to acknowledge the customer's time and explain what will happen next.
Suppose you did not know the answer to a customer's question. How would you respond?
I would be honest and say that I needed to confirm the information. Then I would consult the appropriate colleague or reliable internal resource. I would give the customer a realistic update rather than guessing.
How do you manage pressure during a particularly busy period?
I identify urgent requests, keep a short task list, and communicate expected waiting times. If the workload becomes too heavy for one person, I ask a teammate or supervisor for support early.
Can you give me a specific example?
During a seasonal sale, our service desk became very busy. I separated quick questions from returns that required more time. I invited customers with simple questions forward while a colleague handled the longer cases. That reduced the queue and kept the process orderly.
How did you make sure customers felt treated fairly?
We explained the system to everyone before changing the order of service. Customers could see that we were not ignoring anyone. We were simply directing each request to the right person.
Tell me about a time you made a mistake at work.
Once I entered the wrong collection date on a reservation. I noticed the mistake during my final check, corrected it immediately, and contacted the customer before they traveled to the store.
How did you prevent the same mistake from happening again?
I created a brief checklist for reservations, customer details, item number, location, and collection date. I now review those 4 points before confirming any request.
That demonstrates accountability. How do you respond to constructive feedback?
I try to focus on the action I can improve. I ask for a clear example if necessary, apply the feedback, and check later whether my approach is more effective.
Customer service also involves teamwork. Can you describe how you support your colleagues?
I share important updates, leave accurate case notes, and offer help when my workload allows. If I discover that several customers are asking the same question, I tell the team so we can agree on one clear response.
What would you do if you disagreed with a colleague's approach?
I would speak with them privately and ask how they reached their decision. There may be information I have missed. If we still disagreed about an important procedure, I would suggest checking the official guidance or asking a supervisor.
How do you maintain a professional tone in written support?
I begin by acknowledging the question, provide the answer in a logical order, and finish with a clear next step. I avoid language that could sound impatient, and I reread the message for tone and accuracy.
This role includes both phone and email support. Which do you prefer?
I'm comfortable with both. Phone conversations allow immediate clarification, while email gives me time to organize detailed information. I would be happy to use whichever channel best suits the situation.
Where would you like to develop professionally over the next few years?
I'd like to deepen my customer service knowledge and become confident with more complex cases. In time, I would also be interested in helping new team members learn procedures and communication standards.
Thank you. Do you have any questions for me about the position?
Yes, I do. What would a typical day in this role look like?
The team begins with a short meeting to review updates. Most of the day is divided between phone calls, emails, and case follow-ups. Team members also have scheduled time for training.
That sounds well organized. How is performance usually evaluated?
We consider response quality, accuracy, teamwork, and customer feedback. We also discuss individual development goals during regular meetings.
I'm glad quality and accuracy are included. What training would a new team member receive?
The first few weeks include product information, communication practice, and supervised customer cases. Responsibility increases gradually as the employee becomes familiar with the work.
That answers my question. What do you personally enjoy about working with this team?
I appreciate how willing people are to share knowledge. When an unusual question appears, team members discuss it and document the answer for future use.
That collaborative approach appeals to me. Is there anything else I can clarify about my experience?
No, you've provided clear examples. We are completing several interviews and will contact candidates after the review process.
Thank you for explaining the next step. I've enjoyed learning more about the role and the team.
Thank you for your time, Alex. It was a pleasure speaking with you.
It was a pleasure speaking with you too. Have a good afternoon.
You too. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Well done. In this B2 interview conversation, Alex introduced relevant experience, explained motivation, and supported answers with specific examples. Useful phrases included: my main responsibilities include, one strength is, and I'm currently improving for discussing professional experience. Alex used could you describe a time when? To understand a behavioral question and explained actions in a clear sequence. We also heard important vocabulary. To prioritize means to decide what should be handled first. Constructive feedback is advice intended to support improvement. Accountability means accepting responsibility for your actions, and a follow-up is an action taken after an earlier conversation or request. When asking about a role, useful questions include, what would a typical day look like? And how is performance evaluated? Adapt these phrases honestly to your own experience instead of memorizing Alex's details. Subscribe to Daily English Conversations for more friendly, practical dialogue lessons. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.